Hello you fabulous humans, I hope you've had a good week. This is week 101 of consecutive videos for me, and I just thought I'd start off by saying a huge thanks to those of you that watched the Tour de France remake that I made last week. Had a really good response on Twitter. I guess that's where most cycling fans kind of hang out really, with over 10,000 views in the first 24 or 36 hours or something, loads of retweets, loads of really amazing comments really about people that fell in love with cycling in the 80s much as I did, and just how much that music kind of brings back a load of nostalgia. Sat on the carpet waiting for the Tour de France highlights to come on Channel 4 with Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin, and then racing out to go and ride your bike. I actually used to load up Milk Race on our Amstrad CPC 464 before going out on my bike, so that when I came back I could play Milk Race, and it was just a dreadful game, but I was just completely obsessed with cycling. But yeah, just a quick thanks to say all of those of you watched that video and kind of retweeted it and sent me messages and stuff like that. It made it all worth the while making that video. Always sounds so weird hearing helicopters and aeroplanes now, because the sky's so quiet at the moment, isn't it? So I have this bike that I adore, that I haven't really done any justice to for the last couple of years, but it's fully my intention before I move on to another bike to really do it justice. And in the next couple of years, it's my plan to get my weight down and kind of be able to race as hard as I can, and the training's been going really well. But I thought what I'd do in this week's video is just give an overview really of the bike that I pretty much built from scratch. I've had to source bits from all over the place. Most of it's with second-hand bits, or kind of bits that I've managed to find on forums or had made, etc, etc. So let's take a look at my bike. So the frame itself is a Cube C62 Arium from 2016. I've got Zip 808 on the front and a Zip Super 9 disc on the back, and I've put Corsa Speed, Vittoria Corsa Speeds on here because that seemed to be the fastest combination my research led me to. Clipping some crappy old looks at the minute, and they're attached to a rotor ceramic bottom bracket, which in turn have the InPower cranks on them. And I'm also using 56 tooth Q-ring at the moment. Now don't think for a minute I think I'm Tony Martin. It's all about trying to get a straighter chain line on some of those faster courses where I spin out sometimes. The group set on this bike is Shimano Di2 Ultegra, and I've also got this 4 years oversized jockey wheels on there. They're not anywhere near the kind of price of the ceramic Speed. And my bar end shifters just control the front mech, and the ones on my base bar control the front and rear mech. And they're on Pro Missile Evo base bars. So I've just got a little bit of lizard skin bar tape on there with some skateboard tape as well. And I've also got some custom risers that I have made to just lift the angle of the bars to where I want it to be. And I've also shrink wrapped the cable, the Di2 cable, around the Jaguar brake cables. And I'm using an old Garmin 500, and I have it in a position where I can keep my head up on our British roads so I can see where I'm going. And I'm also sat on a Pro Logo T-Gale saddle. So that's what I'm riding and racing on at the minute, and am I doing it any justice at the moment? Well, my training's doing justice for it. I have to say, I'm going to get there. I'm going to break my records next year if we don't get to race this year. I'm going to break my 40k and my 10-mile PBs on that bike for sure before I do anything else with it. At least to do it some justice and feel like I've got some worth out of having it. So before I talk about how I'm intending to lose the weight over May and the rules that I've given myself for eating and drinking, I'm going to talk a little bit about my training this week. I've done another long ride and another long run, which is a staple for all of my training at really kind of low intensity zone 1, zone 2, and also done some efforts mainly on the turbo for the bike. Been doing some FTP and some 110% FTP work to really get the legs strengthened and the RPM up. I'm trying to, as I said in the video earlier, I'm trying to up my RPM from 91 to about 94 at the minute, trying to get that as an average for when I'm doing my efforts. And in terms of running this week, I did the virtual race that I was telling you guys about last week for the club, where I ran a 24:44 for 5k, which is great for me. I'm really happy to get under 25 if I'm honest with you at the minute. The weight I'm at and the lack of fitness. That's around about the time I ran at Exmouth Tri last year, when I think I was a little bit lighter, and I haven't really run any kind of runs in kind of vengeance in the last I guess 6 months or so. So that's given me a really good benchmark. I'm really excited to be able to have that as a benchmark now, and it has had a massive impact on me motivationally to want to get under 24, then under 23, and the only way I'm going to do that really with the training that is going so well is to lose the weight. So let's talk about the rules that I've given myself for this week. So for this week, the first kind of proper full week of May until week 102, I've given myself some set rules. So in the morning, I'm going to have my Bulletproof Coffee. I'm going to go back to that. I made a video about that a couple of weeks ago. Again, I'll link it up here. I'm going to have that in the morning, and I'm not going to eat until 1:30, and I'm only going to have lunch, and I'm only going to have dinner. So I'm going to reduce the calories by not having any snacks, and I am going to have a couple of treats. What am I going to allow myself? Well, I'm going to allow myself 1 hot chocolate a week. I'm going to allow myself half a bar of Lindt dark chocolate for this week. And some of you might know, but I gave up drinking years ago. But this lockdown, I've actually been having a few cheeky, sneaky drinks here and there. It's a control thing, I guess. But I think it's easy to start drinking on a Thursday or a Wednesday or a Monday or whatever. So I'm just going to make sure that I only have I'm going to only have something to drink on one night this week rather than 2 or 3 nights of the week. So with this week, then let's see how those rules go. Let's first of all see if I can stick to them. Secondly, see how that might impact on my weight over this week. I think with 9 or 10 hours training like I did this week, I should start to see a reduction in weight over this next week or so. But the plan is to further increase the sort of intensity, maybe dropping on the hot chocolates or having a hot chocolate every other week, maybe having that chocolate over 2 weeks, dropping the crisps completely, something like that. I know that what I'm going to have to do is relatively severe to kind of get this weight down, but without going into some kind of a crash diet. That's the thing I'm going to have to be careful of. I need to manage the, fueling the training that I'm doing that's going so well alongside trying to reduce the calories so that the weight comes off. I think part of that will come down to just not having breakfast and sticking to that Bulletproof Coffee. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the video. We'll see what we get up to over this next week or so, and I'll see you in video 102. Have a good week.